Suspicion. Can you not believe this much? I asked the security lady guard who was frisking me at the airport. My job is to suspect you, the lady said gruffly. I kept quiet because I did not wish to miss my flight under any circumstances and on some frivolous pretext at that. Come to think of it, suspicion has been the biggest generator of employment. It is a matter of investigation as to how many employees are working in various bureaus of investigation in every country around the world. On top of it, there are private detective agencies that spy on people. Well, this is not my research paper, and hence I am under no obligation to produce the country wise data in proof of my statement. Tell me how and on whom these government and private bodies can spy unless there is a prima facie suspicion in the first place. There are so many technologies that have emerged only to facilitate the job of suspicion. Suspicion begets spying. Remember, your closest friend, never leaving your company, is spying on you day in and day out. Guess who? Your mobile phone. I'm not a techie to give you insights on this. Out in the office or on a street, there are CCTVs. So you are never alone in this world. The famous stories of the Big Brother in Russia and China, as also the James Bond movies, have given me enough insights on this. Perhaps the Google and the news agencies may enlighten you on the latest developments. Why news agencies? You may well ask me. They have all the information on how politicians of one party keep an eye, read spy, on those of another. Suspicion has generated not just the jobs, but also literature in almost every language, and not to speak of the Hollywood and Bollywood movies. In various regional languages, there are stories rooted in suspicion aplenty. They are all in the form of stories and novels, but none in poems. That's because when a poet is haunted by suspicion, his poetic talent vanishes altogether. Why do you think rap songs have been increasing in the geometric proportion? The so called songwriters want to finish writing in seconds before the spy notices what they are writing. He leaves no time for them to even think upon a poetic idea. These stories tell you not only of the heroine suspecting the hero of his affair with the another woman, or vice versa, but also the mother in law daughter in law clashes arising from suspicion. They show all kinds of melodramatic situations emerging from suspicion on all counts. When there were no telephones, they showed characters overhearing conversation. What a variety of ways of overhearing! From standing behind the door to behind the tree, and from peeping from a window or a roof, the ways were limited only by the script writer's imagination. Over time, the same characters started tapping phones or reading messages over the cell phone. Technologies have only reinforced suspicion. Nowadays, they have simplified the job by creating apps, computer viruses, and whatnot. I'm not tech savvy. Come to think of it, suspecting anyone is the easiest thing to do. People get swayed away easily and start suspecting even their near and dear ones. When suspicion enters the door, love disappears from the window. Just imagine the situation if our judges believed both the plaintiff and the defendant. Without the lawyer's help, they cannot decide whom to suspect in the first place. I, for one, can never imagine sitting in a judge's chair because I tend to either suspect or believe both the parties. A person with too much suspicion is a potential case for a psychiatric ailment. I leave the matter to psychiatrists since it is out of bounds for me. And I have no time to search the Google and copy and paste the content for you. Developing suspicion is the easiest thing to do. It keeps you mentally occupied when you have nothing else to do. Apply all the WH words: what, when, where, who, whom, which, whose, why, and how to any event, statement, and suspicion enters your thinking process. Then you'll have no problem in killing your time day in and day out. After all, it's a whole time occupation. All male writers and dramatists have depicted women to be suspicious. In so doing, they are very unfair to them. My own professor suspected me as to who gave me a testimonial when I got a good job on my own merit. Another professor suspected me of being friendly with his competitor, read enemy. How I wish Dale Carnegie had written a book on how to be in good books with everyone without creating suspicion. Had I read it, I would have become street smart at the age of 25 itself. Suspicion is not a villain as I am making it out to be. In medical profession, a good doctor has to be suspicious. Without it, he cannot diagnose a disease correctly. Lawyers too cannot build their client's case unless they suspect the opponent. Sit in the court and study the cross examinations in all types of disputes. Some questions may even entertain you. I fail to understand how the Hindu scriptures have skipped suspicion as the seventh enemy of man. According to them, there are only six enemies, namely sexual pleasure, anger, greed, attachment, pride, and jealousy. Suspicion is also excluded from the seven deadly sins stated in Christianity. Yes, it's high time I applied for a copyright for this invention of suspicion as the seventh enemy in the Hindu scriptures.